Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to share my first impressions of a couple of new resources that I think are going to fit really well into our homeschool. Now, these were generously gifted to me by Pam Barnhill, and I have had so much fun looking through them. If you don't already know Pam, she is a homeschool mom of 3, an award-winning educator, and the voice behind Plan Your Year and Your Morning Basket. She is all about helping families create practical, doable homeschool days that are also filled with beauty and connection, which of course is something I really appreciate. Now, today I am going to be walking you through the Language Arts Together, the Tarantula in My Purse, as well as the Patriotism Wonder Study. I'll share what stood out to me as I looked through them and how I think they are going to fit into our homeschool routine. And honestly, they came to me at the perfect time because there are a couple little gaps and I have already been thinking about how to fill those in. So let's start with the Language Arts Together, the Tarantula in My Purse. First of all, I love this whole concept behind the curriculum that's like the language arts built around a shared read aloud. That's something that I have been wanting to add more intentionally into our homeschool, especially now that we have finally found a good rhythm for working in our read alouds. It's built around a collection of short animal stories by Jean Craighead George, and the lessons are designed to be done together. That together part is really what stood out to me. Even though I am only homeschooling one child, I still want our learning to feel like connected and conversational and meaningful, of course. So much of traditional language arts can feel kind of like drill work, and this approach is a little bit more like a breath of fresh air. One of the first things I noticed and I loved is that the curriculum gives you a full daily schedule. It is laid out so clearly, showing you exactly what you need to do each day. That truly gives it an open and go feel, which is something we actually rely heavily on in our homeschool, especially during those busier seasons. I also love how light the student pages are. There's not a lot of heavy workbook style work, which is a little bit of a shift for us because we are coming from using Gather Round, where there is quite a bit of written work and it does make up a bigger portion of the student notebook. But honestly, I don't mind this little bit of a change. I think this kind of lighter, more discussion-focused style is going to be a little refreshing, and it will let us focus more on the ideas and the creativity instead of just kind of filling in the blanks. Now, I will be honest, I had never heard of the Tarantula in My Purse book before this, but after flipping through the stories, I can already tell it's going to be a hit. The book is full of short, real-life animal stories that are sweet, funny, and very relatable for kids. And since my daughter loves animals, I know she is really going to enjoy listening to these stories and getting to interact with them in a little bit of a deeper way through this study. Some of the specific things that stood out to me in the curriculum are the open-ended discussion questions that really encourage that thinking and that conversation, the gentle grammar and mechanics lessons that are kind of naturally woven in, and the optional writing extensions that allow for creativity without being overwhelming for kids who might be hesitant. Then, of course, meaningful copy work that kind of ties everything back to the story. For my daughter's like 3rd, 4th grade level, this kind of feels like right there, a really good fit for her. There's enough structure to give me the confidence that we're covering the important skills, but also enough flexibility that kind of allows her to follow her interests and kind of go a little bit deeper wherever she's excited. I can already picture her loving the story about the screech owl and diving into the creative writing prompt that goes with it. What really makes this feel like a win for our homeschool is that it blends the skill building with the relationship building. We're not just ticking off a grammar box. We are having conversations, we are enjoying stories, and we're just using language in like a really connected, living way. So I am excited to see how this fits into our daily routine and have a language arts resource that feels both meaningful and manageable. Now, the second resource I looked into is the Patriotism Wonder Study. And I think this is going to be so fun for our homeschool, especially during the week of July 4th. So we are planning to start back to school that week after a couple of weeks of summer break. And I was looking for something that just kind of ease us back in without losing purpose, but not be a full load. This unit really hits that balance well. It's packed with resources. There is a lot there. You've got book recommendations, curated video links, arts, poetry tie-ins, reflection prompts, hands-on activities. It's just really robust. There is easily enough in here to stretch this over an entire month if you really wanted to dig deep. But the cool thing is it also works if you just kind of want to pull out some of your favorite pieces and do just something a little bit more short term. And that's how I'm planning on using it. I'm just doing it over the 4 days during that holiday week. And that definitely feels doable with a little bit of the prep time ahead. I will say this one is not as open and go as I usually prefer. It does take a little bit more planning to kind of pair all the parts together and decide what you want to use and when you want to use it. But at the same time, I really appreciate that flexibility. So you can make it as light or as rich as you want. And that kind of adaptability is something that I really value, especially during these kind of transition weeks that we will be using it. The book list, it's amazing. I love it. There are several titles that I hadn't heard of before, and we are really looking forward to adding a few of them to our homeschool library, and of course, the new Read Aloud stack. And I just love the idea of having a whole unit focused on the theme of patriotism. Not in like a surface level way, but really just like digging into what it means to love and serve your country with character and heart. I think this is going to lead to some really thoughtful conversations with my daughter, and I am genuinely excited to see how it all plays out in our homeschool. So that is a first look and kind of first impressions at the language arts together and the Patriotism Wonder Study from Pam Barnhill. I am really looking forward to using both of these with my daughter. I think they're going to bring something unique to our homeschool. One kind of gives a gentle open and go language arts option that feels doable, and the other offers a rich, meaningful way to bring patriotic learning without feeling like we're just checking off a list. Of course, I will definitely keep you posted once we have used both of them and can share how they actually worked in our homeschool in the day today. If you have tried either of these, or if you have any questions, of course, leave them down in the comments below. I love just kind of chatting with you, and I'd love to hear if you've used them, how they worked in your homeschool. That is it for today's video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.